Hello, my friend. Welcome to today's podcast episode. And today is a girl chat. For those of you who don't know, girl chats are really just where I take a collection of topics that aren't really related to each other in any way, bring them to the podcast and just have a conversation about them. Obviously, it's a one-way conversation because I'm sitting here chatting with you, but you can chat me back on Instagram, send me a DM. It's probably my favorite thing about the girl chats is the amount of conversations that get sparked in my DM afterwards, because I genuinely love chatting with you guys. And as a podcast producer now, whether it's my podcast or somebody else's, I know that I can fall into the trap of just listening to a podcast episode while I'm dilly-dallying, doing all of the things, multitasking, driving, and then I forget to converse with the creator. But even the people who have lots and lots and lots of listeners are saying, how do I know if my people are listening? How do I know if they like this stuff? Oftentimes we're just looking at numbers, and that doesn't feel as hefty or as heart-filled as somebody sending a message of, I listened to the episode and it was just incredible. If you want to go more in depth than that, do, but just even something simple like that helps. So when you listen to a podcast, make sure you reach out to the creator and let them know that you're loving it. I'm your host, Joelle Cease. For those of you who don't know me, I am a mom of two. I'm a podcast producer, podcast host, and I host this Living in Sync podcast. I've been a podcaster since, a long time. My first ever solo podcast was in 2025, so over a decade now, but with breaks and shifts and changes and rebrands. I'm still podcasting for a purpose of just creating a community. So I appreciate you for being here. And this podcast solely is to connect and serve and converse with you. So I appreciate those of you that are listening. And I'm going to be having some great guests come on over the summertime. We're going to have some like hot take, quick tip style episodes. And let's begin this girl chat with kind of something that has more of a depth to it, and then we're going to finish out talking about a lot of personal stuff. So kind of the rundown of what we're going to chit chat about today is a reflective question that has really helped me, and I think it'll really help you. I'm going to share with you some great content creators that have been making an impact on my life. I'm going to be talking about Botox and laser. I'm going to be talking about new music. I'm going to be talking about the update of my 10K and how to really get into gear this spring so you roll into the summer with momentum, okay? So I wanted to talk about this question off the bat of, why do I do this? I've asked myself this question a lot lately in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different spaces, professionally, personally. I mean, even when it comes to my nutrition journey, the last couple episodes have been on nutrition, what supplements I take, and then really talking about my own realization with emotional eating. And I shared in that episode about the 3:30 rigmarole, where it's after lunch, but not yet dinner. That's when my snack attack was happening. And it wasn't until I was like standing in the pantry and I thought to myself, why am I doing this? It sparked the question, that question sparked a spiral of thoughts that really helped me uncover why I was doing what I was doing. And when you ask yourself really good questions, you then uncover the answers to really help self-coach yourself. And even when it comes to feeling frustrated in your health journey, I think that can be really relative for a lot of people, where, I personally, you guys, have not tied weight with workouts for a really long time. For me, working out is for mental health. For me, working out is for my sanity. For me, working out is for just giving me energy and momentum and clarity for my day. But I could definitely see how if you are somebody that has only ever used working out as a tool for weight loss, and if you are doing your workouts, and let's say you've been doing it for a while now, and I'm just going to leave it at a while because a while is relative. And what you might think, oh, I've been working out for a while, why am I not seeing results? I want you to really ask yourself, why do I do this? That might lead you into the reflection of, well, why do I do this? Why do I work on strength training? It's because when my toddler raises their arms up, I want to continue to lift them and carry them. When my child says, Mom, chase me, I want to be able to keep up with them. When I'm a grandparent someday, I want to have the ability to care for grandchildren. Why do you do this, or why do you want to do this? That could be a reframe, but also it may lead into a question that has you answer your own unconscious self-sabotage, like me in the pantry was, where I stood there and I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I just standing here looking for something to munch on, to crunch on, and it led me to being like, well, I'm bored. Well, I'm trying to seek something to regulate my nervous system and to help me kind of take this crazy energy of that time of the day it was for me and put it somewhere. And that was in actually chewing. And so if you're finding you're not following through on the promises that you made to yourself, like getting in your workouts, asking yourself that question of why do I do this? Why do I give up? And just see where it leads you. When it comes to your profession, thinking about why do I do this? And I think in our generation and, really what we've been told is yes, we can do anything, but we also have been pinpoint of we should always enjoy what we're doing. And I don't think that's necessarily served us well in the sense of everything has positives and negatives. I know a lot of people can quote unquote see the positives of being your own boss. A lot of people can see the positives of having full control of what it is you do and being an online entrepreneur or whatever it is and what have you. But I can tell you there are definitely cons to what I do as well, meaning I take a very high sense of pride in the service that I provide for my clients and the flexibility. And yes, that sometimes means working on the weekend. That sometimes means when other people are doing other things, I'm getting things done work-wise. And I know that's true for other professions too. So while you may be sitting thinking oh, I don't like this, that, and the other thing, being an influencer or being a this or being a that would be so much easier, so much better, right? But everything comes with pros and cons. And I remember when I was on bed rest, actually, when I was pregnant with my first, one of my outings was to go to my doctor appointment. And then since I was quote unquote in town, I swung by the blow dry bar that we had in town at the time and had somebody else do my hair. That was just something that I did. And I remember one day this hairstylist was kind of in a kerfuffled mood. She was kind of ugh, oh, I'm stuck in here and blah, 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 blah. And I remember helping her really reframe, you're not just blow drying hair and curling hair. You are putting pep in my step. You are a spark in my day because otherwise I'm on bed rest, and really just shared with her authentically how her impact and what she saw as just her job and something that was kind of mundane and monotonous just something very regular to her was something really, really special to me. And I think that should be something where we're in the moments of life and we're in the moments that seem mundane, putting the lens on of like, why do I do this? Why do I just want to sit here and watch my child play and have my eyeballs on them instead of having my eyeballs on my phone? I think that can really bring a lot of peace and presence and self-reflection that is going to positively impact you instead of taking the advice of others all the time and then feeling like, oh, why do I keep like falling through on the promises of what I want to do for myself, you know? I hope that was helpful. And the next thing I want to talk about is 2 content creators that have really opened my eyes and I wanted to share with you. They're both on TikTok. I'm not sure if they're on Instagram as well. You'll have to look. One is a big creator and one is right now a small creator, but his videos are already going viral. And this is one of those examples of like, you know, the quote unquote, I'm not eating a lot, and it actually just not being the truth when you are unaware of what you are actually eating. So this TikTok profile is DGYM. It's technically at DGYM.MTL. I don't know why his username is only, but I want to give credit to where credit is due because I am going to play this for you on 2X just because I think it makes a really big difference. He doesn't have a ton of videos, but they are incredibly profound in what we think we're eating and what we're actually eating. And this one that he has is titled Portioned versus Healthy.
Compare healthy dishes versus healthy dishes that are in portion, starting with breakfast.
I'll speed it up for you.
One of them is healthy within portions. Now let's go to snacks. One of them is healthy. One of them is healthy within portions. Let's take a look at lunch.
So he's showing right here 2 options of the same thing.
The other one very healthy within
and
portions.
It's crazy how these portions.
The other one healthy within portions. Guys, I understand the frustration of eating healthy.
This is crazy. This is such a needed visual, but he just showed 2 days of eating. One having 1,804 calories. The other one having 3,812 calories. And when you're looking at it visually, you're like, oh, that doesn't seem that much different. They really don't look that much different in size because the breakfast is eggs, toast, avocado, blueberries. The lunch looks like a chicken salad or salmon salad, something like that. The dinner is steak, rice, greens, and then there's like a yogurt parfait type of situation. And it is just so crazy to look at this. Maybe this next one.
On this side, we have the, I don't get it. I don't eat that much and I eat really healthy. On this side, we have the, I wouldn't be able to eat that much food. Let's compare breakfast. Bagel with cream cheese versus egg, Greek yogurt, and fruits.
And it's just crazy because he showed the bagel and cream cheese, and that was 457 calories. And then he showed the egg, berries, and Greek yogurt, and that had like 412 calories. But it's just crazy because you're just visually seeing like, yeah, you can be eating less food, but that less food can definitely be higher in calories. So definitely go check out. And this was just one of those aha moments I had for myself because I've been one of those people that's been like, I don't eat that much food. It's not like I'm eating a lot. And then when I was seeing that type of content, and I'm sure there's more content creators that are creating content like this, it's just wild to wrap your brain around like. And I remember even when 21 Day Fix came out, the whole premise was really about even healthy foods in like massive portions can cause excess calories over time, leads to weight gain. I talked about that in the emotional eating, where I had the realization of like, oh, it's not that I put on 20 pounds like that. It was really like 4 to 5 pounds over the last 5 years, 4 to 5 pounds a year over the last 5 years. That's how things can creep up on you. And then you step on the scale one day and you're like, how'd I get here? And in reality, I know for some that yes, there is like a snap of a finger weight gain, and yeah, red flag, go get yourself checked out. You shouldn't be taking advice from me if that's your situation. But what I really had to realize for myself was like, oh girl, like you really are unaware of what it is that you are eating. The second content creator I want to talk about is Kylie Perkins. And I know she has had controversy around her. She had this, huge TikTok kind of snap of the finger success, even though she's been content creating for a long time. People say she is a stay-at-home mom, and she has now made it very clear that she is a working mom. She has a career outside of content creation, and now has over 2 million followers at this time. And her premise is keeping a decluttered, clean home. And the controversy that is stemming around her, it just baffles me, because people are like, oh, she's pushing hustle culture. It's like, no, there is factual evidence. And I know I've talked about the book Bad Therapy before, and not that I agree with everything that is in the book Bad Therapy, but a part of the book in Bad Therapy talks about how when you are down in the dumps and when you are feeling anxious, depressed, unsettled, sad, getting up and accomplishing something adds and enhances to your mental health instead of sitting on the couch and continuing to scroll. That's not going to help. So the fact that people are on social media being like, what she is saying is not good for your mental health. Well, sitting and rotting and scrolling on your phone is not good for your mental health either. But taking care of your home, taking care of your space, taking care of your clutter, taking care of your things is an act of appreciation towards what you have. And I think when you look at those two different spectrums, one is going to help you really get out of a funk and out of a feeling, while the other is only going to emphasize it. And there was controversy around who she voted for as a presidential candidate. And like, I don't know, you guys, but we gotta just stop. I remember, I believe it was the 2008 election. It had to have been. But I came home to vote to my hometown because I was in college. So I came home to vote. And then I went to visit my grandparents on that same day. And I remember everybody wearing their I voted sticker. I voted sticker. I voted sticker. And they were at the little small town cafe. And guess what they were not doing? Talking about and judging each other for who they voted for. They casted their vote and they moved on. They moved on and continued to serve together in their community to make it a better place. And when I started seeing this, Kylie Perkins is getting canceled because she's followed this political party, like, stop, just stop. Her platform has never been educating or making a stance on the political front. Really, people found it. People went slumming into her husband's account and into her account to find this information, but she not once has ever tried to say or persuade anybody else from making their own decision in their political party of choice. All she talks about is having a morning routine to make your beds, open your windows, tidy your house, move on from your day. Have an evening routine that resets the house, helps you like go to bed with a calm and peaceful mind. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I used to be so tight knit on these routines when my kids were younger. I think because there was just more toys and there was more cups and there was more this and that and the other thing. And now my kids are at school during the day instead of at home during the day. And I got out of these routines. And so when I started to I literally listened to Kylie Perkins TikToks while I did this really quick. And the first couple times I did it, it took me a while and a long time. But since then, it's been fairly easy to maintain if I just set even like a 20-minute timer in the morning, 20-minute timer in the evening, and do as much as I can, as fast as I can. And I hit the parts that kind of bug me the most at the moment. Like if there's a lot of crumbs on the kitchen counters, then wiping that off and vacuuming the kitchen is the first thing I do. And it hasn't been that hard. I've noticed my kids are now even making their own beds and opening up their own windows, because for about a week now, I've been doing that kind of stuff for them. Or when they go get dressed, I say, hey, it's time to get dressed, make your bed. And they just were organically opening up their curtains to let the sun shine in. And I'm noticing my kids, when they come home from school, and if things are a little bit clean, they are more peaceful coming home from school. I'm sure my husband hasn't expressed it, but I know when we are in a clean and tidy, decluttered home, our minds and our hearts have more space for peace, and we have less anxiety and less it just feels good. And I think while there are definitely days where I'm like, oh, I don't feel like, oh, here I go again, doing this again or doing that again, this task or whatever, I'm reminded to myself of the top of the question of like, why do I do this? And I talked about this in another girl chat, I think, where it's like, it's not that I like doing laundry. I like having clean clothes. So I'm not going to make this drama of like laundry being hard. That's another controversial thing that Kylie Perkins said, is like, laundry isn't hard. It's your mind that's making it hard. We don't have to tote our clothes down to the river and wash them out and air dry them. We put them in a machine, put soap in the machine and press buttons, and it does the work for us. It's not that hard. And so I'm like, I'm not going to create the mind drama around laundry, because I like having my favorite clothes clean. So I'm just going to do the laundry and not make the drama about it. And it takes more time and space in my brain to make the drama about it and to delay it than to just fold it and put it away. And asking myself the question of, why am I doing this? Why am I maintaining these routines and this tidiness and declutteredness in my house? Because why do I do this? Because I think we feel so much better as a family when things are clean and kept. And no, I'm not the only one doing it. Like, I have my partner and my husband in the support of this. The boys, they get involved in this. Oftentimes they really only get their devices like the Nintendo and the Amazon Fires on the weekends. So it's like, before they get their device screen time, they're doing some work around the house too. Hey, we're going to get this, and this done, and then we're going to have the devices. And it just gets done. It just gets done. And it's okay for us to even put that reward at the tail end. Like, hey, I'm going to get this, that, and this done around the house. And then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to grab myself a Poppy and scroll on my phone. Like, more power to me. I'm going to enjoy scrolling even more once I've gotten that task done. And so it's just kind of crazy to me that Kylie Perkins is getting this amount of controversy when I'm like, you know what? All she's ever done is just express and shared something that has been really helpful and beneficial to her. And if you don't like it, you don't think it's going to be good for you, just swipe and like leave her alone. But the fact of what is going on, and there's even a therapist, which if you read the book Bad Therapy, it only proves the point more. I saw this therapist who has been coming for Kylie. And the thing is like, Kylie hasn't made any responses. She hasn't changed her tune. She has stayed in her own lane while other people are throwing hate at her, while other people are giving their opinions. She's just like, okay, like, I'm going to keep sharing and being in this way. And I think it's doing a disservice to our next generation to not teach them to care for things. You know, my kids constantly see us and are with us when we're going through the car wash. When we pull over to get gas, I'm asking them, hey, grab some pieces of garbage around you. Because even when it comes to our vehicles, like right now, for many years, I didn't have a car payment, but right now I have a car payment, and that car payment is a hefty amount every month. Why wouldn't I be taking care of something that is costing me that amount every single month to take care of it? Like it's mind-boggling to me. And do you know what? I love getting into my clean car. I love when people get into my car and they're like, it smells so good in here. Oh my gosh, your car is so clean. And it's not that I'm hyper obsessive about it. It's not taking up any more mental space in my brain than what a messy car would. It's just, okay, on Sunday, I'm going to clean out my car. I'm going to tidy it. I've got a car wash membership. If I drive past it, I'm going to go through it. If I've got a couple extra minutes, I'm going to vacuum it. My husband's more of the detailing. So he does the detailing of it, but he does that because he knows it's fairly well kept and maintained. So when he's like, oh, I've got time and energy, I want to detail your car today, I'm like, okay, we'll just take the few things out of it that need to come out of it so you can get to what you need to get to so it can be detailed. And that was a point of Kylie's as well, was, you know, this isn't doing such an in-depth deep cleaning. This is getting into routines of upkeeping and keeping things tidy. But this also saves time because when you have the space and the capacity for deep cleaning, you're not tidying. And that just made so much sense to me. So I don't know. And we've been talking to our kids a lot about this lately of like taking care of your things. When the bike got taken out of storage, it was like, well, we've got to check the tires and we've got to do this and we've got to take care of what it is that we have. And I think that is such a good lesson, not just for kids, but for everybody. Like even when I was driving around in my 2014 Ford Explorer and I drove that up until 2024, drove it for 10 years. And I was still taking care of it very well, even at the end of me having it. And I think that's just really, really, really important. I really do. Switch gears. We're talking Botox. So I did a post about me getting Botox in my masseters. And as you guys know, and I've told you, I went in to get my masseters. And actually the product we use is Zeman. It's called. It's faster acting than Botox, but I think Botox is just the broad term that everybody understands. It's a neurotoxin. And when I got that done, I was like, okay, I wanted to get a little bit in my forehead. So in September of 2024, I got my masseters done and I got some in my forehead. So this last time I went in, I got quite a bit, and I'm going to be so unapologetic about it in the sense of I got my masseters. I treated also up in my temples a spot for tension headaches, my 11s, a little bit on my forehead. I have a small forehead, and I appreciate this so much about Dr. Tammy, which if you are local to Fargo, Altair Clinic is the absolute best. I love that Dr. Tammy flat out said that. Like, we don't want to put a lot of Botox in your forehead because I have a small forehead. That's going to make it feel heavy. But what I was really starting to not get happy with was my jawline and my downturn mouth. So around the corners of my mouth, even when I wasn't intentionally frowning, I'm like, why do I always feel like I've got this frown face? So I did some treatment for that. And the next thing that I'm going into in April is a Forever Young BBL. That does not stand for Brazilian butt lift, but a Forever Young BBL, which is a non-invasive skin treatment that uses light energy to target aging, sun damage, things like that. So I actually asked ChatGPT to explain it really simply. And it says it uses light to stimulate your skin's natural healing and regeneration, making it look younger, smoother, and more even over time. The benefits of it, according to ChatGPT, is reduces sunspots, age spots, freckles, evens out skin tone. It says bye-bye redness or blotchiness, and I have rosacea, so I'm really hoping to see the benefits of the redness relief, because that rosacea makes my skin always look like it has a sunburn. So I'm usually, I said this on Instagram, I have good skin due to genetics. I do. I have good skin due to good skincare. You guys know I love my Dime Beauty and also my Alpha Ret from Skin Better Skin. I've talked about those products before, but I am ready for great skin, and that is what I'm doing the laser for. And the redness is something where, of course, I can cover that up with more of a full coverage foundation, but it would be really nice to not have to do that. And you guys, seriously, if I'm not wearing foundation, people ask me, were you in the sun? Like, it looks like I have a sunburn, and I have good skin texture, so foundation goes on well for me. But it's that redness that I'm really wanting it to see how it can make it better, I guess, and boost collagen production. So hello, firmer skin, improves skin texture and smoothness, minimizes fine lines and pores, and keeps skin looking youthful with regular treatments. And according to this, there's really no downtime. You can do it on your face, neck, chest, hands, also good for sunspots and other things. So April 10th, I'm going to be going in and doing that. I can share it up on my Instagram if you guys want to know more about that. But my first time getting any sort of like laser like that, I've done regular facials in the sense of just going to like a Face Foundry, they do a facial, they will do a good dermaplane. But even like leaving something like that, my skin always just looks red hot afterwards, and then it gets better. So I'm curious to see how that goes. And then to kind of wrap up, I was going to talk about music and stuff like that, but really springtime is just so fun because there's so many artists putting out music. I know Morgan Wallen has a new album coming out, which I think there's 30 something songs on his album coming out, which is crazy. Miley Cyrus, she announced she's doing new music. Luke Combs threw something up on his Instagram. No official date on his, but he was hyping up that it's like some of his best work. I'm so excited for all like the music on the boat in the summertime. And so I'm so excited. And 2 months until the 10K, which is training is going really good. I did a 5-mile run this weekend and I ended up going further than that. I think it was like 5.4 because I just had gas in the tank. I got a pair of Mizuno running shoes. 10 out of 10. I love them. They work really, really well for me. I can tell. I did my 5-mile plus run in them. And I'm still wanting to train primarily on the treadmill because I want to teach myself to hold the pace. And obviously on the treadmill, you set the number and you hold the pace. So that's kind of why I'm still primarily treadmill training right now. And I've been starting to really pay attention to what do I need to eat before my runs to fuel myself. Running has really opened my eyes to fueling myself in a different way, teaching my body to use the food that I eat as energy. And during my 5-mile run, halfway through, I ate a handful of Nerds gummy clusters. A lot of runners will do goo or a gel where it's just a hit of glucose, potassium, so it's sugar. So your body then has that hit of energy. Now, some people are very much like, you do not need to do glucose or any sort of fuel for a 10K, but I do want to have a good 10K time. Like my goal is to be easy breezy with the 5Ks and be like, yeah, I can run a 5K easy, but like I want to run a 10K. And I also am going to use this May 10K as a benchmark and really improve my speed for a fall 10K. So I've got shoes on check, nutrition, fuel. Now I'm just looking for and trying to even maybe just use something I already have of what I'm going to wear for clothing on race day. Sports bras is a totally different game after being a mom of 2. I mean, I remember my early years of running, and ladies would be like, what kind of sports bra do you run in? And I was like, why is that question? What's the big deal? Just put on a sports bra. It doesn't matter. It matters. It definitely matters. So I'm looking for a good high impact sports bra. And also I would love to start running in shorts that don't ride up. But from what I'm finding is that's like nearly impossible with some of the shorts that I've tried. The mediums are too tight and the larges are too big. So I'm kind of in between sizes right now, which is kind of frustrating. But I do plan to try a couple different brands. So if you guys have any particular brands, I know some of you guys are amazing athletes, runners, and if you have recommendations, please shoot them my way. And right now is really a great time to get in gear. If you feel like you were kind of in a funk with winter and you didn't have a lot of ambition or motivation or drive, that's a-okay. That's actually what winter is for. Seasonally, in everything, there is a time for a winter. There is a time to not be pushing and striving and always like trying to move the needle forward. And if right now you're like feeling the energy of spring, like set yourself up to have a fresh start. And the last thing I'll talk about just quickly is with the realization I had with nutrition, calories, and whatnot, I did get a new calorie tracking app, and it is the Lose It app. So just lose it, ! And the icon is an orange square that kind of looks like a scale. Honestly, it looks like a scale. And the Lose It app has been really helpful. I did the free trial, and whenever I do a free trial hack, I do try to put a reminder on my phone for like the day before when it's going to click in. So if it's like a 7-day trial, I'm like, okay, in 5 days, I'm going to put a reminder to go cancel that or let it renew. But I've been really, really liking it. I like it way better than MyFitnessPal. I've tried the MyFitnessPal so many times, and every time I've tried to use it, I'm just like, oh, this app is awful. I don't like it for whatever reason. And I've really liked the Lose It app. So I am going to let it, because I think it's like $35 or something like that for the year. So I'm actually going to let the membership kick on and use it because it has been really beneficial for me to see where I'm at calorie wise. And now it does. It just makes so much sense that when I overdo it, I see that scale go up. And when I'm, really aware and I'm accurate in tracking, like I can be in control of the type of outcome that I'm going to get. And so it has been really, really helpful. This has been a long girl chat. Went on a handful of tangents I didn't plan on doing, but I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, you want to talk about anything, you agree, you disagree, I'm an open book to have a high quality conversation in the DMs. Follow me over on Instagram, and I'll talk to you next time, my friend. Bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you loved what you heard or you want to share your favorite episode topics, please leave a rating and review. This helps the podcast growth and gives people an idea of what the podcast is all about. Something new and exciting that I wanted to share with you before we go is that we now have a Patreon page. This has replaced the Feminine Edge collective community in a cohesive place that is easier for me to manage and cheaper for you. If you are interested in our monthly classes, exclusive day in the life vlogs, Bible studies, community Q&A, and more, go to patreon.com/livingInSync and join for just $5 a month. Check out the show notes for any links or details of things referenced in today's episode, and I look forward to chatting with you in the next one.